Hey everybody, this is Mr. Longo, and this video is going to cover writing equations of polynomial functions from the given graphs. So we're going to be going in a different direction. In a recent video, I gave you the equation and you had to sketch the graph. We're going to go backwards. So this first example says write the equation of f of x with the given information. We know we have zeros at -2, +2, and 0 with a multiplicity of 2, and it passes through the coordinate -4, 576. So this is a little bit different because it's not a graph, but I gave you all the important points that you actually need. So this is what we are going to do. First thing you have to think about is what is the standard form of a polynomial function? Well, it's y equals a, and then all of your zeros in factored form. So, in this case, we have a -2, which we know came from x plus 2. We have a +2, which came from x minus 2. And then we have a 0 with a multiplicity of 2, which means this guy is going to be squared. And we would have x minus 0, but we all know that adding or subtracting a 0 from anything doesn't change anything, so we're just going to keep that as x squared, okay? But we have to figure out what a is. A is our, shall we say, leading coefficient of this polynomial function. So the next thing we're going to do is substitute in our x and our y. So we're going to get 576 is equal to a times a -4 plus 2, a -4 minus 2, and then a -4 quantity squared. And now you're just going to do some, multiplication, squaring, solving for a. All we're doing now is solving for a. So that's going to give us 576 is equal to a times a -2 times a -6 times -4 squared is a +16. So that's 576 is equal to a times, now we're just going to multiply all of that together, which is 192. To solve for a, you obviously just need to divide both sides by 192, and you are going to end up getting a is equal to 3. Okay, but now the rest of this is going to require some more work. It says write the given in standard form. So now we're going to go back, now that we found a, and we're going to say y is equal to 3 times x squared times x minus 2 times x plus 2, and you have to multiply all of that out. I just switched the order because this is just going to become 3x squared. So now we have y is equal to 3x squared times, and there's a few different ways you can do this. You can distribute and then FOIL again. If you want, you can FOIL this guy right now and you'll get x squared minus 4. Then you can distribute that and you will end up with y is equal to 3x to the 4th power minus 12x squared. Okay, and that is in standard form. If I asked you to leave it in factored form, you could have left it right here. Okay, so this we know is factored form. But since the directions ask for standard form, that means FOIL, multiply, distribute, combine like terms, all of that fun stuff, and get rid of the parentheses. Okay? So the next example is pretty much the exact same type of question. The only difference is I gave you a graph. So now that you know that you have a graph to look at, you just need to do the same thing. Is look for your zeros, come up with a polynomial function, solve for a, And that's about it. The only thing is you have to find one additional point, and I did give you one additional point that is not a 0. So, since we just did an example of this, why don't you pause the video and give this a try and see what you get. Give it a shot. Okay, so we have y is equal to a times. You have a bounce, so this is a multiplicity of 2. Or 4, but it said 4th degree. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is negative 2, so that came from x plus 2 quantity squared. And then we also have a positive 1, which means that came from x minus 1. And we have a positive 4, which means that came from x minus 4. So that is the layout, and it did say in factored form, so that's going to be nice for you because you didn't really have to do all the foiling and everything afterwards. Part 2, you have to substitute in your x and your y to be able to solve for a. So we're going to use this guy right here. This is 0, negative 3. So our y value is a negative 3. Is equal to a times, and now we just have to plug a 0 in for all the x's. So 0 plus 2 is 2 squared, 0 minus 1 is a negative 1, and 0 minus 4 is a negative 4. And now we're just going to solve for a. So negative 3 is equal to a times 4 times a negative 1 times a negative 4, which is going to give us negative 3 is equal to a times a positive 16. So a is equal to a negative 3/16. Okay, so the final step is just to write the actual function in factored form. So f of x or y is equal to negative 3/16 times x plus 2 squared times x minus 1 times x minus 4. And I want you to take special note that this is negative. And since it's a 4th power, notice that this is like an upside down to the 4th power. So you can use a little bit of what you know about graphs to check to see if your equation makes sense. Okay, that's it for this video. This is Longo and I'm out. See you, bye.